Hello, welcome to my channel Dharma Makes and welcome to my Halloween series. I've created a skull-shaped sconce with an artificial candle. I purchased this plastic skull from the Halloween decoration sections. It's actually a pretty nice mold, but it is plasticky and it does need a lot of tender care. To tackle it, first I'm going to remove the jawbone and I'm going to use a sharp knife to cut off all the flashing and excess plastic to smooth out the surfaces, or at least to get rid of the larger chunks. What I'm also doing is carving out the teeth a little bit. As probably this was like injection molded, the teeth are just all one solid thing, and carving little gaps between some of them makes them look more realistic. After I'm done with the knife, I'm using a nail file to get rid of any bits that are imperfect. When I'm happy with the smoothness, I break out a dark brown acrylic paint and I base coat the entire thing really well, making sure to get into all of the nooks and crannies. I'm using dark brown to make sure that any of the cracks that may be visible later on with the lighter layers of paint are going to be a nice, pleasant and dark color that's going to add to the shading. When the brown paint has dried, I am painting the eye sockets and the nostrils a straight up black color, sort of like mimicking hollow cavities. I'm using an off-white color called antique linen to basically overbrush the entire surface. I think this looks really good for a bone white color. And the base painting of the skull itself is actually pretty simple. It's just going to be this dry brushing over the dark brown paint. As you can see, the plastic mold is actually quite detailed with some cracks and the cranial plates being separated. And I think it just ends up looking quite realistic and as if it was a skull that was kept in a dark and damp crypt for a very long time. So my idea for this piece is to make it into a wall sconce, and I'm going to be adding a fake candle to the top. And I'm using the core of a toilet paper roll to measure exactly where the candle is going to go so that I can apply my other decorations but leave room for it. So for my primary decorations, I wanted to make this skull bejeweled. So for the centerpiece, I'm using this little decorative thing that had like a flowery image in the middle, but I only want the frame, and I want to put this red colored oval rhinestone inside instead, and it was just a happy accident that it was the perfect shape and size. I'm also going to be using a collection of other rhinestones, but of course I'm not going to use them pink and silver. So I'm just picking out what I may be using and I'm going to be painting all of these pieces with the same dark brown that I used on the skull. They're not gonna stay this color, but I'm going to paint them gold. Having that dark brown undertone though makes it harmonious with the undertones of the skull itself. And I think gold and ruby red has this royal feel to it. So I'm adding this piece in the middle on the forehead, like a forehead jewel, for some sort of royalty. And I'm going to be using these strings of rhinestones that I've colored gold, sort of in a crown shape. I am using hot glue to attach everything for permanence, even though the rhinestones had some sticky stuff underneath. I'm also adding these two dragonfly pieces, and I'm picking out more flower shaped red rhinestones, and later on I'm going to be using some smaller gold colored rhinestones as well. I've put another row sort of further in the back to cover a seam line that I wasn't able to get rid of with the sanding. And I've also fished out some teardrop shaped rhinestones in the same ruby red color. And I'm just attaching everything with a combination of hot glue and PA glue. When I'm happy with my design, I turn my attention to the candle portion. So the core of the toilet paper was actually perfect in size, however it was a little bit flimsy. So instead I'm going to be using part of the core of a kitchen towel roll. And I've just measured and replicated it. I'm also creating a circle to be the top of the candle. And I'm using an electric tea light with a battery to actually make the light. So I cut a hole in the middle of this top part, and as you can see, it's just going to rest on top of the tube. And this way the candle can be operated, turned on and off, and also can have the battery replaced. Now of course I need to paint those cardboard pieces as well. And I'm using the same dark brown for everything. I'm of course making sure to paint even the interior and underneath surfaces of everything. I don't want any raw cardboard showing anywhere. I've also decided to use some silk leaves, and first I started painting them just plain gold from the tube, but they were too bright, so I changed my mind and I put a coat of the same dark brown paint on, and then dry brushed them with the gold, and it made them look almost kind of like these ancient Roman laurels. I'm also going to be using a little bit of red silk ribbon to hang the sconce, but I've just used a little bit of gold on it to make it a little bit more interesting. And of course, I'm attaching the ribbon itself with hot glue, and I'm using some of the silk leaves to, well, first of all, hide the overspill of the hot glue, because I had to be generous. This is going to be holding up the entire weight of the skull. and also as nice decorative elements. And I'm using my leftover silk leaves as elements in other places on the skull. Then I turn my attention back to the candle. And first of all, I'm attaching that circle to the top of the tea light itself. And then I'm going to use a huge amount of hot glue to create the wax effect with all the drips. And as you can see, I'm just coating the entire surface of these both pieces and letting gravity do its thing to create those beautiful drips. And hot glue, the one that I'm using, is sort of transparent, but it dries milky white, and I think it's very, very appropriate for melted wax. Having the dark brown underneath though makes it look like it does have some color, but the wax that's melted, it became more of this translucent. And I'm doing the two pieces separately just to make sure I don't accidentally stick them together forever, because that would be disastrous. I would never be able to turn on the electric tea light. And I'm just spending a lot of time manipulating the drips and reheating parts of them and rearranging things. As you can see, by the end, and after using up 2 entire glue sticks, I'm left with this fake candle that I think looks pretty realistic for hot glue. And then I'm making sure that it fits properly and finally attaching it. I know it looks sort of funny, and this project really was a little bit too large for my camera setup, so I couldn't help but be off screen a lot of the time as it's too tall. But you will see the position makes sense in the end results. So here it is. It's going to be resting flat to the wall, hanging from that red ribbon. And there it is, actually on the wall. So looking up to it, you can see the face of the skull, but the golden glow of the candle is there on top. This was by no means the most complicated project in my Halloween series, but it is the largest object, so it was frankly quite tricky to film. However, I'm very pleased with the results. Do let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you enjoy these sort of crafty videos, make sure to visit my channel. I have a lot more different kinds of crafts, from miniatures to embroidery to sculpting, on my channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a nice day. Bye!